Okay, in our last video, we downloaded and installed Git, and we also created an account on GitHub. In this video, we're going to do some additional configuration that we need to be able to use Git and GitHub. And then in the next video, we will start actually using Git to manage some source code and make changes to that code. So to start off with, let's just go back and log into GitHub. github.com, excuse me. And we will see, you might already be signed in, but if you're not, just go here to the upper right. And you can log in. And I just want to point out quickly that this GitHub Bootcamp has, as I think I mentioned in the last video, has a lot of really detailed and helpful instructions. It's another great way to learn about Git. And in particular, a lot of what we're going to be doing today is in this step 1 called Setup Git. And we're going to start right now with these steps. This is the installation we did last time. We are going to start with these steps under Setup SSH keys. So SSH keys are something that we need for our computer to be able to talk securely to GitHub. So I'm going to start off by running the program we installed last time, git bash. And let's see, the first thing you want to do is let's just check and see whether for some reason we already have SSH keys. So if you use this command ls, which lists the files in a particular directory, and then tilde /.ssh and hit enter. This will show you if you have already some SSH keys, which I do. Now I'm going to delete these with another command that you don't need to worry about for now. And I'll show you again what some of you may have seen, what you would see if you don't have keys, which is this message saying that this directory doesn't exist. That's fine. If you already do have a key called id rsa.pub, like I do up here, you can skip the step where we create the key and go straight to the part where we upload it to Git. So to generate this key, we're going to use a command called ssh-keygen. And we'll have space dash T RSA, which is the type of key we're creating, space and dash capital C, space, and now you want to put here is your email address inside quotation marks. And it's a good idea if it's the same email address that you used when you signed up for GitHub. Now, this will prompt you in a couple ways. First is where to save the key. You can just hit enter to take the default. Then it will ask you for a passphrase. This is essentially a password, so you can type anything in here as long as you remember what it is. Type that again. Oh, let me try again. Having some trouble today. Got it. Okay. And then you'll see a key fingerprint. And our next step will be to upload this key we just created to to GitHub. So that we want to go back to our browser. We want to go over to the top right to this little link for account settings. And then we want to go to SSH keys over here on the left and click this add new SSH key button. Title can be anything you want, just help you remember which computer this key was from. And in this key box, we're going to put the key we just generated. Now, where do we get that? Well, let's try this other program we installed. We've been running git bash. Let's try out git GUI. When we open that up in the help menu, we'll see an option, show SSH key. And that shows us their SSH key, already selected. Copy to clipboard, close out of here, and then paste that in here. Good Control V and add key. There it is. Now, let's just check that worked. So in git bash, we are going to do ssh-T git at github.com. Hit enter. Now, this will present us with a fingerprint that identifies github.com. It's a good idea to check that this is the correct fingerprint so that we know we're really talking to github.com. And if you want to do that, I don't think we have time in this video, and I've already confirmed this key several times. If you want to do that, you can scroll down a bit under the setup SSH key section to where they show this ssh-T command that we're about to run, and that you can confirm that this matches what they show on the website. So I'm just going to type yes, enter, and enter the passphrase that I created before. Now you'll see a message here. This indicates you have successfully authenticated, and that's what you want to see. Don't worry about the second part about not providing shell access. That's normal. Great, so that works. We're able to talk to GitHub. Now we just want to configure Git itself with a few additional pieces of information about us that will help us when we're making changes. It can keep track of who did what. So we're going to first, we're going to do a series of commands, and all of those will involve a git space config space and some additional options. And in fact, all of them will also have this -- global. So we'll have a series of commands that look like this. The first one is to tell Git what our name is. So I'm going to put user.name, and then in quotation marks, you can put your name. And then hit enter. The next one, another git config global, is your email, user.email. And it's a good idea to use the same email you used, again, when signing up for GitHub. And then our Git username, git config global github.user. And there's one last piece of information, which is an additional way that we can connect to GitHub, in addition to the SSH key we just created, which is known as a token. And that we have to find in GitHub. So let's go back to this. Shrink this window down a little bit. And this is going to be, oh, doesn't like that too much. This is going to be back in our account settings page. If you go to profile, account settings, you will see this API token. And you want to take that, and we'll have to type it in here. So we're going to have git config global github.token, and then just type this thing in. Now this is something you should keep secret. I'm going to change my password after this so that this won't be revealed to any of you. Type that in. You might want to double check that it's right. Hit enter. And now we just want to confirm that we have successfully created all these settings. And for that, we use another git config --global --list. And if you see these 4 pieces of information you just entered, you are good to go. So in the next video, we'll start actually using Git to create and manage some source code and some changes to that code.